Joining us now here in studio, Speaker Emerita, Democratic Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi of California. Madam Speaker, it's so great to have you here with us in studio.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We have so much to talk to you about. We want to start with the abortion question,
yes,
which since Roe v. Wade was overturned almost 2 years ago now, we've seen the political fallout. We've seen voters, even in red states, say, you've gone too far with this. And then yesterday, Donald Trump with a muddled message trying to please several different constituencies, and it turns out pleasing none of them. How do you believe this issue will play as we move through this election year?
Well, first, let me say the issue about a woman's right to choose is a democracy issue. This is about freedom, freedom of women to make their decisions, families to make their decisions. So when, what's his name, said what he said yesterday, he either is stupid or he thinks the rest of us are stupid. Because this is not, he takes great pride in overturning Roe v. Wade, takes great pride in it. And then the way the press wrote it up just cracked me up because it said, Donald Trump believes that he doesn't believe anything. He believes in his political survival, and that's what he's trying to accommodate. But you can't be a little bit pro-life. You're there or you're not there. And people see that. So he may have outsmarted, well, I hate to say outsmarted because so it doesn't seem to apply. But why would the press say he believes? He doesn't believe anything.
Well, we certainly did not say that. This morning, we just said that's what happens when you're completely unprincipled on something. You go all over the place, you meander. He has said publicly that he was pro-choice, then he became pro-life when he decided he wanted to get into politics on the Republican side. What are you seeing, though? We've seen the results in the midterm elections and in states across the country, different referenda on ballots. How do you believe this will play a role in the 2024 general election?
Well, thank you for asking. As you are aware, in the 2022 election, people said we were going to lose 40 seats, 30 seats, 40 seats.
The red wave.
Yeah, the red wave. And I was like, what are they? They don't even know what they're talking about. And they were saying, I'm going to owe an apology for promoting the issue of a woman's right to choose. Climate, women's right to choose, guns, and democracy were where we took our message into the states that we had to win. Now, we're not a national campaign. We're discrete into different elections. And we knew the power of that. And those who were saying, oh, she's so wrong, Roe v. Wade is in the rearview mirror, people really don't care about it that much. No, they do. It's a democracy issue. It's a kitchen table issue for families to make their decisions about this. It's about respect for women. Oh, my gosh. Respect for women. So it's a big deal. You've seen every election has been won. Now, I don't know what will happen in Florida because I don't even question the integrity of Florida's elections, much less whether it can work there. But people in Florida are revved up about it. It will be a big issue in the campaign. And let me say, when we won in 2018, people said, oh, aren't you lucky that health care was such an important issue in the campaign? I said, no, we weren't lucky. We made our own luck. We had 10,000 events pointing out what the Affordable Care Act did. And similarly for this, people are organized. And you would be, I'm very encouraged to hear what women are doing around the country, even in red states, about this issue. So there's a drumbeat. We may not win win an election, say, in a certain red state, when abortion's not on the ballot, but it causes a drumbeat across the country, and it helps in the other elections.
You mentioned Florida, the 15-week ban, which is about to become a 6-week ban. What are your questions about the integrity of elections there? You made the point that you had questions about whether the election would...
Oh, in Florida, I don't know. I think if you have all the money in the world, go spend some in Florida. Otherwise, let's just win the election elsewhere. Now, my friends in Florida will not like that, but the fact is we have to win. We have to win this. Joe Biden is, has a beautiful vision for America. He knows the issues. He knows the strategy of how to get things done. Greatest record of a president in that first 2 years when we had the majority comparable to Lyndon Johnson, Franklin Roosevelt. He didn't have as long a stay, but nonetheless, for when he was there, and an empathetic person who cares about America. And then we have this guy who's out there saying, oh, I'm proud of overturning Roe v. Wade, and now states can make up their mind. And what he said they can use their faith. I mean, he had I don't even know what the word is, the gall, to use the word faith about how they make these decisions.
So, Madam Speaker, let's turn to Israel.
Yeah.
President Biden had a phone call with Prime Minister Netanyahu last week. He expressed real unhappiness with how the war is being conducted in Gaza. I know a number of Democrats have done the same, particularly after that strike that killed those humanitarian workers. The Prime Minister yesterday said, look, I'm setting a date for a Rafah invasion. That's still going to go ahead. He didn't say when that would be. You are among those who have said aid to Israel, military aid to Israel, should be conditioned. Explain to us what you mean, what conditions and why.
Well, let me be very specific. The letter was about the attack on the
aid workers.
The workers. It said until there is an investigation, and they said they were doing an investigation. Now, I think the investigation should be an independent one, and I said that early on, and Secretary Blinken said that, Jose Andres said that. It should be an independent one. But nonetheless, that letter said there should be an investigation. It didn't enlarge the issue to everything else. Now, you have to know that we have the Leahy language in the law which says that if we give you assistance, as we do give to Israel, you cannot interfere with our giving humanitarian assistance. So there's some conversation that will be had about this in the Senate and in the House. It's really such a tragedy. Look, October 7th was barbaric. It was horrible what they did to the Israeli people and the rest. Hamas is a terrorist organization. We need to free the hostages, all of the hostages. But nearly 33,000 people dying, people starving, hydration, famine, and the rest. There has to be a better way.
Mika?
And so, Madam Speaker, on that note, what are some of the opportunities or options for President Biden in terms of trying to forge a better path here? It seems Bibi Netanyahu is really dug in on a number of things. Do you think that conditions on aid should be put in place? And if they are put in place, what would they be?
Well, I've not been a fan of having conditions on aid to Israel. We give Israel the aid we give them because it's in our national security interest to do so, and that has been our tradition. But I do. The president has not said if they cross the red line in Rafah what he would do. But I'll tell you what he has been doing. And people should know this, and especially try to say this to all the people in front of my house in the middle of the night and the rest. The president has been advocating for humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians. The Republicans in the House of Representatives have held it up. And yet, to hear these people go out there and say, oh, genocide, Joe, all that, not to repeat what they say, but nonetheless, he's the one who's been advocating for it. The House of Representatives has held that up, as you know. But in addition to that, one of the plans that they put forth to give aid to Ukraine has no humanitarian assistance. So there has to be some recognition of what is holding up this assistance to the Palestinians, because, I mean, humanity, as Jose keeps saying, we've got to support humanity in all of this. So I can't really answer that except to say what our law is, that if we give you assistance, you cannot interfere with our giving humanitarian assistance for the same geographic area. I would hope that Netanyahu, I mean, he's only interested in his own political survival. Does that sound familiar? And that's just the way it's been. It's a tragedy. Netanyahu is a tragedy. We all love Israel. We want Israel to be able to defend itself, but also to maintain its the respect it commands in the world. I don't think he's in furtherance of that. I think that Chuck Schumer was right when he said there should be an election.
We were talking, Madam Speaker, in the commercial break as you sat down about the stakes of this election as you've seen them. You've watched firsthand. You were inside the Capitol on January 6th. You experienced a horrific incident in your own family because of the climate and the culture of what's going on right now in this country. So where do you see the stakes? What do you say to even some of those progressives who are protesting outside your house saying, we're not going to vote for Joe Biden because of what he's doing in Israel? What do you say to voters who may be shaky on Joe Biden about the stakes of this one-on-one matchup?
Well, I don't know if they're progressives outside my house. I don't even know who they are outside my house. But in terms
protesting his handling of the war, yeah.
Yeah, but I know my protesters. You know, I've represented my district a long time. I got the biggest vote of any Democrat in California. They said, oh, you're not reflecting your district. No, I got the biggest vote of any Democrat in California. Some of these people are, I don't know who they are. Some are the usual suspects, but largely they are, I don't know what they are. But nonetheless, for those who are saying that, oh, you want Donald Trump of Muslim ban fame? You want Donald Trump who says he wants people coming from nice countries? You want Donald Trump, who's anti-LGBTQ, anti-women's right to choose. You want Donald Trump, who was standing in the way of the Republicans in the House of Representatives for giving humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians to the tune of billions of dollars. What is their agenda? So, some of it is spontaneous, sincere, and real and organic. Some of it, I make a distinction between AstroTurf and grassroots, and some of it is AstroTurf. So who benefits from it? Donald Trump. Who benefits from Donald Trump? Putin. There's, in my view, a connection there.
We'll be talking to you much more as this election year goes on. Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, nice to have you in New York with us this morning.
Yeah, and we fully intend to win the election. We're going to win the House. The president will be reelected, and Chuck Schumer feels good about the Senate. So we just have to, we've made a decision to win. We will win. Our democracy is at stake.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Great to see you.
Nice to see you.